wait is finally over. After close to 11 episodes, we have reached our final destination for this season of Zelda Unknown, the capital of Hyrule, Castletown, a dear child of the franchise and favourite for your dose of minigame galleries and iconic landmarks such as Hyrule Castle, the Temple of Time, the Market Square, and equally iconic characters in the series. To get a hold on all the possibilities, I have invited the master of hype, HMK, to spice up this episode with groundbreaking ideas for the capital of the Hyrulean kingdom in Zelda Wii U. Even so, before you go any further, I highly recommend you watch my previous collaboration on HMK's channel, considering the history of the Hyrulean royal family.
One thing is at least confirmed. Castletown is making a return in Zelda Wii U after being absent in Skyward Sword. As seen in the E3 reveal, the castle is visible in the far distance of the opening screen. Interestingly, when compared to the overall map, the town is placed more or less in the same location as in Ocarina of Time. Will this impact the town or city somehow?
The Zelda towns of the past have had its sheer number of flaws, but still been of great importance due to the fact that these towns are some of the few places where you actually could meet other Hylians and more importantly interact with them, stocking up your gear, getting hints or directions, or completing side quests. In this regard, HMK, what should be the size of the main town in Zelda Wii U, and what sort of position should it play to the plot and quest in the game?
To be honest, I think it's time to stretch for the next level and go for a big, or should I say the largest town or city in the series, as it makes sense as this is the most vast Zelda overworld ever and should have more extensive towns or at least a proper Hyrulean capital city. More specifically, I want to see the town comparable in size as other large medieval game towns such as The Witcher 3 Novigrad. The town was the embodiment of what a castle town should be in Zelda Wii U, with several city districts divided by areas inhabited by the wealthy, poor, and normal townspeople, criminals, and a temple district, including hundreds of accessible buildings and several of these leading to deep and engaging side quests. Size matters as long as it's thoughtfully developed and justified by implementing meaningful content and accessibility. But Novigrad has one weakness, that it was a bit too large, which caused many buildings to respond this way. That's why Zelda Wii U's Castletown should not be any larger than this, to be more accessible and not give an impression of a town of locked doors. Though some doors should be locked and gradually be opened when you meet new characters and complete specific side quests. By the way, in a town this large, you should be able to ride your trusty steed more throughout the streets.
In other words, Zelda Wii U's Castletown should be smaller than Novigrad, but still contain 3 to 4 radically different capital districts, such as a commercial, political district with the central market square, a cultural district, a wealthy residential district, a poor residential district, an academic district, and finally the castle district. Let us begin with the commercial and political district. At once, I may just be honest and say that I do not wish for a return of the bazaar, since I feel it is about time to bring back the market square as the focal point in the town. In and around this area you should find all necessary stores or shops such as a blacksmith, armorer, mask shop, bank, potion store, a shoemaker, the town hall, and if it makes a return, the Temple of Time. But this does not mean that the market square will be the only place where you will find stores in the capital. Oh no, they will be scattered around the city, as I hope Nintendo finally will find it reasonable to break the commercial monopoly found in Castletown.
Next up is the cultural district, full of taverns, milk bars, minigame galleries, photo shops, fortune tellers, magical competitions, a circus, and a theater and outdoor performances. This will be the go-to place for a daily dose of entertainment in the capital. Next, I hope they bring back the academy from Skyward Sword, but extend it to an entire city area containing facilities, student housing, student-run taverns and clubs, and a public library where you can spend hour after hour learning more about the history of the capital and the land of Hyrule. Most of Link's equals will be found in this area, and you'll be able to participate in the Academy's activities on campus.
In addition to the more public districts, there should also be 2 residential districts, one wealthy and one poor. After all, we need houses to be able to smash every single pot in the town. Joking aside, these 2 districts should embody the subject of wealth and poverty introduced in Wind Waker's Windfall Island. The Golden District could contain splendid townhouses, city palaces, expensive boutiques, and taverns, and be inhabited by successful merchants, noblemen and women, priests and knights with their houses full of valuable items and pots. The gangs district, on the other hand, should reflect the harsh contrast in the feudal society and crime life of the capital. The buildings should be run down and the inhabitants live under simple or harsh conditions. As you mentioned in one of your videos, HMK, perhaps Zelda on the Wii U or the NX should allow you to build your own character based on in-game decisions. In this case, you could either choose to join the gangs or fight them.
That reminds me of one thing, Conrad. You should be able to use your weapons and items in the town and perhaps even sword fight from the saddle of your horse. Anyways, apart from the 4 city districts, we'll likely see the return of the imposing Hyrule Castle right next to the north of the capital with a smaller military compound surrounding it. Next question is how to make the capital feel alive and organic in order to give that greater immersion and depth for the player. I will point out 3 things. How dynamic and intelligent the large number of NPCs roaming the streets are, how accessible and seamless the city is, and finally, how good the quests and side quests will be within the town. The first one seemed to be addressed in last year's E3 reveal, where we got a brief demonstration on how dynamic the NPCs are in this installment. It appears that they're programmed specifically for day and nighttime activities, depending on the time of day, with a high level of artificial intelligence, causing them to react on ongoing events such as approaching enemies and other threats. With this as our breaking point, we might expect that the NPCs in Hyrule Castle Town will actually have programmed AI in order to react to Link when they approach him. Pulling the sword out will make them retreat, and with these mechanics, we can compare how NPCs will act in the past to this features of the game.
More importantly, with a potentially lengthy day and night cycle in the game, they could actually have meaningful day and time activities, crafts, and act realistically in the streets and drop things when stomping on them. The second most important aspect to Hyrule's Castle Town, or any Zelda town in general, is accessibility, to grant a more seamless and boundless experience of the environment. The best example in this case must be Majora's Mask Clock Town. In that town there was only one principal rule: if there was a door, then you could enter that building somehow, thus giving close to unlimited access to all rooms and areas found within the game. Let us remind ourselves, this is a game that was released initially 15 years ago, and it has still not been surpassed when it comes to general accessibility, dynamic NPCs with day and time activities, and let us not forget some of the greatest side quests found in the Zelda series.
Zelda Wii U should not be a game where doors are artificially locked due to lack of will to program interiors. No, as the ultimate Zelda, it should set new benchmarks and not restrict the player from exploring any door or corner from the town. With that I mean, I want for the first time in the franchise history to have interiors be seamless, no loading times when entering a building. It is obvious that the Hylians will appear in the castle town, but I believe in order to add more diversity, then Eiji Aonuma and his development team need to take a lesson from Twilight Princess and include several races living side by side within the castle town. Gorons are an obvious choice in this regard because they fit perfectly as the role of merchants and blacksmiths in Twilight Princess Castle Town. This could work again, and the Gorons could return as merchants in both Market Square and sell more exclusive and expensive goods in the Golden District. Next we have the Zoras, who could sell fish and other water-based products such as renting a sailboat, fishing rods, baits, and generally be a part of the common town life. At the same time, we need more rebellious races in order to keep things interesting in the castle town. In this case, the female Gerudo tribe, the thieves in the poorer districts, could rival the Hylian bandits. Perhaps we could see a gang war between the two and will be forced to pick a side. The Sheikah, as protectors and bodyguards of the royal family, could obviously appear in the castle vicinity and be found in a neighborhood attached to the castle. 4 races apart from the Hylians should be good enough.
Definitely. There are many possibilities for inclusions of new races within Castle Town. One hint we do have is that Mr. Creepy Smiles, the happy mask salesman, might make a return in Zelda Wii U. In this case, what would be more fitting than see him having his own story again in the town? Other characters that could make a return in a slightly altered form are the mayor, the ever so busy postman, or may I dare to say postman, the royal guards, soldiers, knights, the bank lady or beggar, merchants, carpenters, bakers, blacksmiths, armorers, scientists, actors and performers, artists, and many, many more.
Some of the best side quests in the Zelda series have been located within towns, and the Anju and Kaife side quest in Majora's Mask is a prime example of how taking advantage of many locales and areas that the town can offer. Let me say it, Zelda Wii U's Castle Town should be brimming with side quests and add days of gameplay for just these. And with the non-linear approach and Miyamoto's assurance that there will be many things to draw your attention from the main quest, I'm certain that Aonuma and EAD3 can pull this off. With lengthy multiple stages and time-based side quests in terms of quality, could even rival or surpass the genius of the Andrew and Kaife side quest in Majora's Mask.
More importantly, you should actually be able to fail certain side quests that we will not be able to redo. It will be punishing, but it will be fair and realistic. Apart from which, I believe a portion of the main quest should also be tied to the main city and the characters found there. But hear me out. The quest should be structured in a non-linear fashion where you're completely free to choose yourself what to do first and then in what order. The town should finally offer a wide variety of entertainment alternatives such as minigame galleries, challenges, horse races, taking part in religious rituals, cultural scenes such as concerts and plats, and so on.
Hyrule Castle Town is iconic for being the seat of the Hyrulean royal family, and for us gamers, it has always been associated as a dungeon. You know what? Hyrule Castle should not be a dungeon in Zelda Wii U. Enough is enough. It's about time that we are given the possibility to explore the proud and massive castle. As you are right, a royal residence and not a semi-dungeon setting. Sorry Dark Nuts, you're gonna have to find another place to haunt. I believe it's about time in 30 years of the series that we're given the possibility to explore and enjoy the magnificence of the many halls and chambers of the castle. Be granted audiences to the king and Zelda, dine at royal banquets, and be entertained by the king's court performers. All of this, of course, while being under the strict observation of the soldiers and knights of Hyrule and the Sheikah bodyguards.
You may ask, then where should a dungeon tied to the castle town be? And let me ask you, what is the scariest and probably darkest place in every town? You're right, the sewers. In Twilight Princess as Wolf Link, we had to pass through the sewers of Castletown on several occasions. The only thing, however, that lacked was that this area was not a proper dungeon, which could be changed in the next Zelda and make the entire sewer network of the town becoming one giant dungeon and embody the idea of one dungeon in this game being the size of the entire Ocarina of Time's Hyrule field. This could mean that the sewers could turn out to become a giant maze infested with a huge variety of enemies and rats, and the many paths through this disgusting dungeon will lead to keys, hidden treasures, items, and ultimately the dungeon boss. In other words, the sewers seems to be a much more interesting setting for a Castletown dungeon than the castle itself, thus allowing us to enjoy the town with its castle without interruptions.
What more can be said? Castletown is an icon and will become a legend of the series after Zelda Wii U. No matter what, with this installment of the town, it must evolve from being an interesting but flawed environment to something truly special. Whether or not our presented concepts or ideas will come true, only time will tell. But mark these words, the capital of Hyrule should contain a large and bustling market square, contrasting town districts with townhouses and the highest quality and detail of landmark to mark a new level in terms of urban environments in the Zelda series. This ambition should further include a wide variety of races, dynamic NPCs, and day and nighttime activities, and a high level of artificial intelligence, the best side quests in the series, entertainment options, a commercial market that will cover all your needs, and a complete revamped economy system, rewarding your hunt for treasure and rupees. From an explorable and massive Hyrule castle to a market square that will leave us in awe to the dark and depressing depths of the sewers, I am certain that Zelda Wii U's Castletown will become, wait for it, legendary.
It was a great honor to have you here, HMK. If you're interested in more Zelda, Kingdom Hearts and all gaming videos, then if you already haven't, you must check out the King of Hype and subscribe to HMK's channel. Link is also in the description below.
And for all of you, don't forget to like, share, comment, favorite, and all that good jazz. But most importantly, subscribe to Commonwealth Realm for more in-depth Zelda Wii U videos such as this one and more gaming histories.
We have reached the end of the first season of Zelda Unknown, and at this moment I just want to thank all of you who have supported this channel and series in the course of the last half year. Though this is the final ordinary episode, there is coming a making off special next week. We will see the entire process of behind making a Zelda Unknown episode, from the conception of the idea all the way to uploading the finished product to YouTube. So look forward to that one. The second season of Zelda Unknown will premiere in August, and ideas for new provinces and some remakes are under development. I'm also open for ideas in the comments section below. On top of that, August will also premiere the first season of History Time, with the history of the Metro universe as the first episode. In addition, I also want to give something back in return to you, in the form of this giveaway. I know that many people are giving away amiibos recently, but I want to be a bit special. So I'm giving away a historical fan-made compendium, The Legend of the Hero, where you will find everything you need to know about the different creatures and items found within Hyrule and the many other kingdoms and lands in the Zelda universe. So look forward to next week, when also the announcement of the winner of the giveaway will be revealed. Until then, this was the Commonwealth realm
and HMK.
And we will check you guys and girls later.